Hello and welcome to this first one in the series of video tutorials for constructing the app which I like to call Drive. So first of all, I recommend before watching any of these tutorials to watch the demo which I labeled part 0 to see what the application is going to look like, feel like, and perform and function when it's done. So we have a vision of what we're working for. Also, this is going to be part 1 of stage 1. There are 7 stages. Some of them might have more than one video. So at the beginning of each video, I will announce that it's, which video it is in the entire series and what stage it also belongs to. So this is definitely video part 1 of stage 1. As usual, there is a written guide which we're going to follow. There's also, as you will see, teacher's pack. There's a teacher's pack for some of the stages, but not all of them. There's definitely a teacher's pack for this stage. So let's start reading. We start, of course, by duplicating or recreating a Quest empty VR, which we've done in previous courses. Is just creating, a blank or an empty template ready for VR, just like the one we created in Immersive Technologies 2 and 3. Of course, by duplicating the whole folder. And this guide is compatible with version 6 point something. And it uses, this is the reason why I added that, it doesn't use the built-in render pipeline, it uses URP because it's more appropriate for the post effects we're going to use, and also OpenXR rather than the Oculus XR plugin. Both of them are just more modern methods of approaching things. We don't always use them, but in this case, they're more appropriate. Of course, and I already did that, once I duplicated the empty VR folder, I changed its name to, my name Drive. In this case, I just called it Drive for Vid because I'm creating it just for the video. In the Unity Hub and open, and I made sure that I have the latest version of the Meta XR Core SDK. So I already opened it. I changed its name to Drive 25 for Vid under Window Package Manager, Management Package Manager. In project, if I search for the word Meta, I will find the Meta Core SDK. If there's a check next to it, it's the latest version. And if there's an up arrow next to it, it means it needs to be updated. At the time that I'm recording this, which is, preparing for the fall of 2025, the version is 77. There's a very good chance that by the time you watch this video, the version will be higher. And then there's going to be like an update button here. Right now, for what I have right now, this is fully updated. The next thing to look into would be not to forget to change the project name in the project settings. Edit project settings player, and right now, of course, it still says that it's the the empty because was a duplicate of the empty. I'm going to call it Drive for Vid, and save, of course. And the next thing to look at, don't forget to change. I already did that. I downloaded the Drive Stage 1 teacher pack, unzipped it, copied its content into my assets. Takes a second for it to digest it. And it's sitting right here in my project, the Drive Stage 1 teachers pack. And step number 5, again, in the project settings, Meta XR, check if there's any recommendations, fixes, and so on. If there's stubborn ones, skip them. Project settings, the Meta XR, and right now I have no recommendations, not for the Windows, or built-in, and not for Android or Meta. Also, I made sure that under File, Build Profiles, my build is for MetaQuest. Now, here's the thing. The way we're going to build this application, it's going to be at the same time for VR, but it's also going to work great if we compile it as a PC game, as a, just basically, pretends to be a 3D app, but it's really running on a 2D screen on any computer, Mac, Windows, and so on. We're going to build it in a way that's going to work for both. And that's really the biggest advantage of working in Unity. Develop once, deploy everywhere. And now we can actually start with the construction itself. We have a sample scene, which we have from the empty VR. We're going to change its name to Drive Stage 1. The strategy is going to be that every time we move a stage, we will duplicate the scene. This whole game is going to have just one scene by the time it's done, but it's going to slowly evolve. So in my assets, in my scenes, if I double click to open the sample scene that has, the camera and the all that stuff. What do I have here as a game object? Oh, I can delete that. All I need to have is the OVR player controller and plane. We're going to, as you can see, we're going to replace that one too. But the idea is that I'm changing its name to Drive Stage 1, not forgetting to double click and save it. Make sure it's the scene that I'm working on. So we're going to take advantage of what we already have. So going back there, change the game window to aspect 16 by 9 landscape so we can see what the user will see. So instead of free aspect, it's going to be 16 by 9 landscape. Save and save project. We're going to delete the camera because it says that we probably have an OVR player controller from the empty one. We're going to replace it with the OVR camera rig. What's the difference between them? They're both VR cameras, but this one has an engine in it and this one does not. You might think, oh, it's because, we're driving, we need the engine, but our engine is going to come from the car, not from the camera. The camera is going to be mounted on the car. So we are going to take OVR player controller and delete it. It's going to say no cameras. And then we're going to go into our packages. In the packages, we're going to find MetaXR Core SDK, prefabs, and find the OVR camera rig. Temporarily, let me reset its position. You'll see that will change very soon, but temporarily we're just going to give it, reset position and just a height of 1.8, so it's like, a little above the plane. Because right now I'm on the plane. If I give it 1.8, I'm, about a person's height above the plane. But that will change very soon. So we did step number 3. You should already have a plane. We do. It should already have some kind of material that has some kind of texture. And we're going to give it the following parameters, which it might already have. Basically, we're just making it bigger. We're making it 100 by 100 on the X and the Z. Y doesn't change because the plane doesn't have any height. So let me select that plane. And it's right now 10 by 10 by 10. And I'm going to make it 100 by 1. Let me unlock these. 100 by 1 by 100. What it's going to do is make that plane really, really big, because the size of a normal plane is 10 meters by 10 meters. I'm making it 100 times bigger, which really means 1,000 by 1,000, which is a kilometer by a kilometer. It's really big. It's like 2/3 of a mile. As far as the texture, if that bothers you, that all the the checkerboards became 10 times bigger. If you want to, you can always open the plane material and change the tiling to be from 20 by 20 to be 10 times more than that, 200 by 200, and then I can see the tiles. But that's going to be gone very soon as well, so it's totally up to you. So we just did number 4. Number 5, you should already have an object called global volume. We're going to use that one for post effects. If not, we're going to add one under game object menu, volume, global volume. I have one from, the empty, but if I didn't have one, I would either go to game object, volume, global volume, or right click here, right click, volume, global volume. They're both needed for those post effects. We're going to create an empty game object called player, and we're going to reset transform. Empty game object, player. At this point, as far as name, it's not really important if it's capital P, case sensitive and so on. I'm just keeping it the way it is, but I'm going to reset transform, definitely. And we're going to move the camera to be its child. And the player is really going to be the car, all the different parts of the car, its colliders, but also we're going to mount the camera on the car. So as the car moves, the camera or us move with it. And we're going to give it these parameters. We already have the OVR camera rig. We're going to change the 1.8 to 1.5 and move it backwards a little bit, like negative 2.3. Everything else stays the same. So I'm going to take the OVR camera rig, drag it into the player to become its child, change its height to be a little lower, and push it back a little bit, negative 2.3. All those numbers are not set in stone. We can change them later on. It basically means that the camera is on the car, a little behind the car. So as we move, we can see the car, and we move with the car. Save project. We are on step number 8, and we're going to start adding more and more children to the player. As a child of player, it's going to be its second child because the camera is its first child. We're going to create another empty game object, and its name is going to be vehicle. We're going to reset transform so it has the same transform as its parent, player. So player, empty game object, it's the second child. Its name is vehicle. I'm going to make sure that it has a reset transform. Very easy to forget to do it. I forget very often. All the more reason to remind myself. So the hierarchy looks like this, and it does. As a child of vehicle, finally we're going to create something that we can look at, not empty. We're going to create a capsule, and we're going to change its name to base. We're going to give it the following parameters. So let me move this aside. Bring it up. Narrow down or move Unity so I can see what I'm doing side by side. Again, inside vehicle, as a child of vehicle, we're going to create a 3D object capsule, call it base. Right now it would look like this, but very soon it's going to look different because we're going to give it these parameters. 0, 0.39 on the Y, 90 degrees rotation X, so it's on, basically, laying down, 0, 0 on the other angles. As far as its scale, there's no lock, so each one of them can have a different value. 0.78. So it's a little wider, and 1 on the Y, and 0.32 on the Z, and that would make it kind of flat. And it looks almost like a surfboard. If I get close to it, looks like like a pill or a surfboard. It's going to be the base of our vehicle. And it says including material. So first of all, we're going to make sure that we're using the material, and that came from the teacher's pack, the one with all those weird letters that start with M but ends with 01. So I'm going to go to Mesh Renderer, Materials, browse for materials, and find the one from all the series that start with M, the 01, and that's going to be its material. Its shadows are going to be on, everything else stays the same, and very important, I'm going to either delete or disable its capsule collider because we're going to build a whole different set of colliders for the vehicle when it's ready. So not each part will have its collider. So capsule collider, either disabled or gone. And that would be the next step. Don't forget to uncheck or delete the capsule collider. The next part we're going to add to this car is from the teacher's pack. We're going to find the object called U-pipe, not to be confused with the object called U-shape 2, and we're going to drag it to be one more child of a vehicle, not of the base. So we're going to have the base and that U-pipe, and we're going to give it the following parameters. So first of all, let's find it. In the teacher's pack, here is U-pipe. And we're going to drag it to be a child of vehicle. So now vehicle has two children. Right now it looks huge and totally like, not what it needs to be. Let me look at it from above. But by the time we give it the right numbers, it will. What are we going to do to it? As far as position, let me reset. I'm going to give it 0, 0.7, 37, negative negative 0.58, 180 degrees rotation X, and as far as scale, it's going to be, because right now it's tiny. See, it's like, its original size is tiny. 22.09 on the X, 21.92. All these numbers are just numbers I experimented with. They just look good to me. They're all around 20. And 19.45. What's the point of all of this? By the time I'm done, this car is now going to have, sorry, this needs to be minus, so it's in the back. Here we go. So by now, this car has some kind of like something that marks its rear. So we know that this is the front and this is the rear. It serves no functionality. It's just for, for looks. And it's this U-pipe, its mesh is called Taurus. We're not going to change that. In its mesh render, we're going to give it to the material from the same series that ends with the number 22. So right now it has no material, it has no name material. We're going to give it material number 22. It's all from that metal, Hughes metal material. This guy is not going to cast shadows. There's no need for it to cast shadows. The next thing we're going to do is create axles, so the wheels can, be mounted on axles. But it seems to me like that would be a perfect place to pause at step 12. I will see you at part